Now we will study about the internal features of the spinal cord. Now this diagram, it is showing a transverse section of the spinal cord, and in the transverse section we can see that there is an outer zone of white matter, and this contains the myelinated axons, while the inner zone, it is made up of the gray matter which contains the cell bodies of the neurons. And the gray matter of the spinal cord, it is in the form of an H shape, and whole of the spinal cord, it is divided into two equal halves by this anterior median fissure and the posterior median septum. Now the gray matter of the spinal cord, which is in the form of H shape, it is have the right and the left limb of the H, they are joined by this transverse band of the gray commissure, and in the center of this transverse band there is a central canal which contains cerebrospinal fluid, and each limb of the H, it is having an anterior or the ventral horn which is motor in nature, and the neurons in this horn, they are motor neurons, while the posterior horn or the dorsal horn of this gray matter, it is sensory in nature. In the T1 to L2 segment of the spinal cord, there is an additional horn present, which is the lateral horn. And in this lateral horn, there are preganglionic sympathetic neurons, they are present. The white matter of the spinal cord, which contains the myelinated axons, it is further divided into an anterior or ventral column, which is present between the anterior median fissure and the anterolateral sulcus, and a dorsal column or a posterior column present between the posterior median septum and the posterolateral sulcus, and also a lateral column present between the anterolateral and the posterolateral sulcus. So white matter, it is further having an anterior, posterior and a lateral column, while the gray matter of the spinal cord, it is having an anterior and a posterior horn, and an additional lateral horn is present in the T1 to L2 segment of the spinal cord. Now, if we see the cross section of the spinal cord at various levels, so here we can see the transverse section of the spinal cord in the cervical region. Middle one is the transverse section in the thoracic region, and last are the transverse sections at the lumbar and sacral region. And these sections, they are clearly showing that the amount of white matter and gray matter in the spinal cord, they differ in different levels of the spinal cord. The amount of white matter, it is more in the cervical regions of the spinal cord, and as compared to in the sacral and lumbar regions. The more amount of white matter in cervical region, it is because most of the descending tracts, they are still present in the spinal cord. All are not have not left the spinal cord till cervical region, and the ascending tracts which are added from the lower regions of the spinal cord, most of these ascending tracts, they have been added to the spinal cord till the cervical region. So in the cervical region, most of the descending and the ascending tracts of the spinal cord, they are present in the white matter. So white matter will be more in the cervical region, but in the lumbar and sacral region, as most of the descending tracts, they have already left the spinal cord, and ascending tracts, they are gradually added. So the amount of the white matter, it will be lesser in the lumbar and sacral region. And if we look at the gray matter in various regions of the spinal cord, in the lower cervical regions and in the upper lumbar and sacral regions, we can see that there is a large ventral or anterior horn of the gray matter. This large anterior horn is because there are more number of motor neurons at these levels of the spinal cord at in the gray matter, and these more motor neurons in the cervical region, they are for the innervation of the upper limb muscles, and more motor neurons in the lumbar and sacral region, they are for the innervation of the lower limb muscles. So the amount of white matter, it will be more in the cervical region, and the gray matter, it will be more in the lower cervicals and the lumbar and the sacral regions where there will be large anterior horn. And in the thoracic region of the spinal cord, we can see that the transverse section, it shows that the diameter of the spinal cord, it is lesser in the thoracic region, and an additional horn of the gray matter, it is present in the thoracic region. So these diagrams, they are showing a comparison of the gray matter and white matter in the spinal cord in various regions, and the large anterior horn in the cervical and the lumbar and sacral regions, they are responsible for formation of cervical and lumbar enlargements in the spinal cord, as we see in the next diagram. Here we can see that the spinal cord, it is larger in diameter at two places in the cervical and lumbar region, and reason for these enlargements, it is because there are more number of motor neurons in the gray matter at these two regions. Now we will study briefly about the neurons which are present in the gray matter of the spinal cord. The neurons in the gray matter, they can be classified according to their function, or they can be classified according to their structure. Functionally, the neurons, they can be either motor in nature or sensory in nature, or they can be interneuron type. The motor neurons in the spinal cord, they are present in the anterior and the lateral horn of the spinal cord, and these motor neurons, they are multipolar in type, and these neurons, they can be either alpha type of neurons or gamma type of neurons. Both type of neurons we can see in this diagram. The alpha type of neurons, they are larger in diameter, about 25 micrometer, while the gamma motor neurons, they are smaller. They are having a diameter of about 15 to 25 micrometers. The alpha motor neurons, they innervate the extrafusal muscle fibers, while the gamma motor neurons, they will innervate the intrafusal muscle fibers. So these are the motor type of neurons which can be either alpha or gamma type, and they are present in the anterior and the lateral horn of the spinal cord. The second type of neurons, they are the sensory type of neurons, and the sensory neurons, they are present in the posterior or the dorsal horn of the spinal cord, and these are smaller in size as compared to the motor neurons. The third type of neurons are the interneurons, which are present throughout the gray matter of the spinal cord, and these interneurons, they can be either inhibitory or excitatory. Structurally, the neurons, they can be classified as being Golgi type 1 or Golgi type 2. The Golgi type 1 neurons, they are having very long axons, and the axons of these neurons, they will leave the gray matter as the anterior nerve root, or they will form the nerve tracts. While the Golgi type 2 neurons, they are small in size and they will never leave the gray matter. So these are the type of neurons which are present in the gray matter of the spinal cord. Functionally, they can be either motor or sensory in nature, or there can be interneurons. But structurally, they can be having very long axons, the Golgi type 1, or they can be having short axons, that are the type 2 axons. And the neurons in the gray matter, they are also arranged in special groups, as we see in this diagrams. First, in the anterior horn of the gray matter, we can see that the neurons, they are arranged in three groups: a medial group, a central group, and a lateral group of neurons. The medial group of neurons, they will be innervating the muscles of the neck and trunk, while the lateral group of neurons, they are present only in the cervical and the lumbar enlargement of the spinal cord, and these type of neurons, they will innervate the muscles of the upper limb and the lower limb. While the central group of neurons, when it is present in the cervical region, it will form the phrenic nucleus, and it will also form a spinal nucleus of the accessory nerve. And the third type of nucleus in the central group, it is the lumbosacral nucleus, the function of which is not known. So in the anterior or the ventral horn of the gray matter, the motor neurons, they are arranged in three groups: a lateral group which is innervating the muscles of the upper limb and lower limb, a central group which will form the phrenic nerve nucleus or spinal nucleus of accessory nerve, and a medial group for innervation of the muscles of the neck and the trunk. While if we look at the sensory horn or the dorsal horn of the gray matter, the various nucleus which are present in this horn, they are first at the tip of the posterior horn, there is a posterior-marginal nucleus. This posterior marginal, at the posterior marginal nucleus, many sensory fibers they will relay here, and very small neurons they are present in the posterior marginal nucleus. Anterior to the posterior marginal nucleus, the second group of neurons, it is the substantia gelatinosa. This substantia gelatinosa, it extends throughout the length of the spinal cord, and it contains only very small neurons which are Golgi type 2. The substantia gelatinosa, it receives the afferents which are carrying the pain and the temperature sensations. The third group of neurons anterior to substantia gelatinosa, it is the nucleus proprius, and this nucleus proprius, it is also present throughout the length of the spinal cord, and as the name is suggesting proprius, so it will receive the afferents which are carrying the proprioceptive sensation or sensations of pressure and joint sense. And the second order neurons which are present here, they will now form the anterior lateral spinothalamic tracts and the anterior spinocerebellar tracts. The fourth group of neurons which is present at the base of the posterior horn, this is the nucleus dorsalis or the Clarke's column. This group of neurons, it is extending only from the C8 to L3 segment of the spinal cord, and it consists of neurons which are receiving the proprioceptive sensations, and axons of these neurons, they will form the posterior spinocerebellar tracts and anterior spinocerebellar tracts. The last group of neurons which are present in the posterior horn, they are the visceral afferent nucleus, which will receive the sensory impulses from the viscera. So these are the group of neurons which are present in the posterior horn. The first was posterior marginal nucleus receiving pain and temperature sensation. Then there was substantia gelatinosa for pain and temperature sensation. The third group of neurons, nucleus proprius, which is receiving the afferents carrying the proprioceptive sensations. And fourth group of neurons, it is the nucleus dorsalis or Clarke's column, which is also receiving the proprioceptive sensations, but it is present only from C8 to L3 segment of the spinal cord. And last was the visceral afferent nucleus receiving the sensory impulses from the viscera. In the lateral horn of the spinal cord, two group of nuclei they are present, and these groups they are intermediolateral group and an intermediomedial group. The intermediolateral group of nuclei, it is present in the T1 to L2 segment of the spinal cord, and it will give rise to preganglionic sympathetic fibers, while the intermedial group of nucleus, it is present from S2 to S4 segment of the spinal cord, and it will give rise to preganglionic parasympathetic fibers. So these are the group of neurons in the anterior, lateral and the posterior gray horn of the spinal cord. And if we see a thick section of the spinal cord, these nuclei appear to have a layered or laminar arrangement, and the 10 layers of the neurons they can be recognized, and these are named as the rex lamina. And these rex lamina they are named in the Roman numerals, and we start from the tip of the dorsal horn and we move towards the ventral horn. and these lamina, they will correspond to the group of neurons which we have already studied in the previous slide. So the first lamina, lamina 1, it is at the tip of the dorsal horn and it will correspond to the posterior marginal nucleus. Lamina 2 will correspond to the substantia gelatinosa, and lamina 3 and 4, they will correspond to the nucleus proprius. So these four lamina 1 to 4, they are for the exteroceptive sensations and they will form the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Now the lamina 5 and 6, they are forming the base of the dorsal column, while the lamina 7, it corresponds to the Clarke's column, and it also includes the intermediolateral and intermediomedial group of nucleus. Now the lamina 8 and 9, they will belong to the ventral or the motor horn of the spinal cord. Here we can see the lamina 8, which is for the medial group of neurons which will innervate the muscles of the neck and back, while the lamina 9 will correspond to the lateral group of neurons which will innervate the muscles of the limbs, and the lamina 10 in the Rext classification, it corresponds to the group of neurons which are present around the central canal of the spinal cord. So this is the lamina 10. So these are the 10 laminas of the Rex classification from 1 to 10, starting from the tip of the dorsal horn and moving towards the ventral horn. And all these lamina, they correspond to the group of neurons which we have classified earlier. So this is about the structure of the gray matter of the spinal cord, and this gray matter is having an anterior or motor horn and a posterior or sensory horn and an intermediate horn. It is present in the T1 to L2 segment of the spinal cord, and we have studied about the various neurons which are present in the gray matter of the spinal cord. Now about the white matter of the spinal cord. Here we can see this white matter of the spinal cord, which mainly consists of the myelinated axons, and this white matter, it is divided into three columns: an anterior column, a lateral column, and a posterior column of the white matter. And the fibers which are present in the white matter, they are either sensory or motor fibers. And the sensory fibers of the white matter, they are the afferent processes of the pseudo-unipolar neurons which are present in the dorsal root ganglia. So here we can see the pseudo-unipolar neurons, and these are having a central and a peripheral process. The peripheral process, it pass towards the receptors, while the central processes, they will pass towards the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. So first type of fibers in the white matter, they are the central processes of the pseudo-unipolar neurons, and these are the sensory fibers of the white matter. The second type of sensory fibers in the white matter, these are the ascending fibers from which are forming various ascending tracts of the spinal cord, and they are carrying these various sensations towards the brain. The third type of fibers which are present in the white matter, they are the motor fibers, and these motor fibers, they are forming the descending tracts of the spinal cord, and these motor fibers, they descend from the higher centers towards the spinal cord. We will study about these ascending and descending tracts in the later part of the lecture. So this is about the white matter of the spinal cord, which is arranged in an anterior, lateral, and a posterior column, and it consists of myelinated axons, and these axons, they are either sensory or motor in nature, and sensory fibers, they are fibers of the ascending tracts, and the motor fibers, they are the fibers of the descending tract.